Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Contractor Success Academy. Today's lesson is a tool tip, and we're talking with Pawan Jaggi, the founder and CEO of a software company called PulseM. Now, PulseM works with home service businesses, thousands of home service businesses across Canada and the US, and in large part, that software helps these companies manage their reputations and do a better job of collecting reviews online. Now, a special treat for you, Pawan has decided to invite one of his customers using the PulseM platform successfully. Josh is going to come and speak to us about how he took his business from 3 million to over 12 million in a relatively short period of time. I know you're going to love this lesson. Do us a favor, if you're enjoying the content, please click the like button, leave us a comment, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell to get notified every time we publish some great content. Cheers. Hey everyone, welcome back. Pawan, thank you for being here with us today. Super excited to jump into PulseM and learn all about what you guys do in terms of review generation. Thank you again, Pawan.
Thanks, Mark. Pleasure being with you.
Fantastic. So Pawan, let's jump right into it. I know you guys put together a nice presentation for us. Today we're going to be talking about the impact of reviews and really how technology can help you kind of expedite your ability to generate volume of quality reviews.
All right, let's get started. My name is Pawan Jaggi, and I'm the founder of PulseM. Thanks again, Mark, for this opportunity today to talk about our platform and reviews. So the topic I selected today was implementing an effective review strategy. If you think about the services companies that we serve around the nation, they all understand the value of reviews, but one of the things that they miss is how to get consistent flow of reviews in on the hard work that they're putting in every day on the jobs that they do. How do you get consistent flow of reviews and make that data useful for the company? How do they actually grow those reviews and grow their company in parallel? So I'm going to be addressing those things today. I want to talk a little bit about the new normal. There are three things listed on this slide that I felt that these three things were kind of normal outcomes that everybody went after. But now with the COVID-19 situation, these are have-to-haves. These are not nice-to-haves anymore. The number one thing I want to talk about is establishing trust and then ask for reviews. You got to set the stage for the customer. You have to establish that trust and have that communication. They should know who's coming to their home to service. And I'm going to give you some examples of that. In this COVID-19 era, customers are actually using this technology to not just let them know who's coming, but how prepared they are before they're going to be servicing the clients. Number two, messaging must be useful for the customer. I see nationwide that there are lots of clients who think of themselves first in terms of what is the right message from their perspective, but it should be the other way around. It should be what is the message that is more useful for their end customers before you think of how is it useful for you. And I'm going to give you some examples as well. And finally, simplicity and automation will always win. This is something that has made PulseM successful in the marketplace. The more simple you make this communication with your clients, the more reviews you're going to generate. And of course, automation plays a huge role. What I mean by it's a level playing field is that this kind of a technology and these messages just don't apply for the very large companies. We have some of the largest companies in the United States and Canada working with our platform. But we also have the one truck and two truck companies, and it's a level playing field for them. So they can utilize all of these technologies. It does not matter the size of your company. You can utilize this technology to your advantage. So what are the desired outcomes if you want to become a communication, the customer experience expert? The desired outcome is that you want to be a leader in your local market among businesses of comparable size. So it's not just about reviews, but what is your review velocity and how are you competing in the marketplace? That's what's important. Review growth is driving revenue growth. So from my perspective, and I come from a lot of experience because we generated close to about 300,000 Facebook and Google reviews just last year.
Wow.
And these reviews are directly correlated to revenue. And we've seen companies that pay special attention to what I'm talking about. They're growing in their local markets against their competition. So the specific actions that you have to take place that you have to do is implement a good, solid reputation management program. It's not just about sending a link to a customer to drive reviews. Pay attention to your negative experiences. In any successful company in the United States or Canada, you are going to have majority of your customers who are going to be happy with your services. Otherwise, you won't be around. But there's always that 3 or 4% customers who have negative experiences. Now, there's nothing wrong with some of those customers writing social media reviews you can't gate reviews. But what you can do is pay attention to the customers who are negative, who've had a negative experience, and do this in real time. Automation is really key to the success, and this has been one big reason why PulseM has been successful. We use integrations and make things real time. The more real time you work, because customers forget very quickly about the services that people deliver. So automation and working in real time is key to success. And then finally, measure the review velocity. The velocity means that how many reviews proportional to the number of technicians or service personnel are you getting in a month compared to your competition, who is a similar size competition to yours in your local markets. And keep on improving it till you become a market leader in your segment. These are the 4 things that if you pay attention to, your company will grow. I'm going to give you some very specific examples now. This is an example of how we send out our bios in the PulseM, and this is how you establish trust. So this is delivered as an SMS, which has close to 98% open rate, and an email. And inside that is a document capability. You can see this COVID-19 notice that you can put a document inside. You can let them know who's a professional picture with a nice US flag behind. And then perhaps a video that can be a technician video. Here's who I am. I'm going to be coming to your home today to serve you. I enjoy baseball and I have a family with 2 kids. Just something that breaks the ice, starts a conversation, or it could be a video from the owner telling the customer how prepared your company is going to be to protect the customer. It's a great way to establish trust, give security to the homeowner, and this is what leads to a consistent review. This is an example of bios and what we call pulse checks. These are review requests. And once again, the idea is make it professional, make it simple, make it automated. Having a nice picture, send the bios out prior to the service, send a pulse check after the service. Don't expect the customers to spend more than 10 seconds or 15 seconds of their time expressing how they feel about your company and your services. And if the customer is unhappy, you should be able to call them immediately and address their issues. That's the key to success. When customers get a phone call within 5-10 seconds of them leaving a sentiment, which was about a minute after the technician left, then chances are that 80% of those unhappy customers, you could even convert them into your brand ambassadors. And that's key to success.
Sorry, Pawan, just to kind of jump in, the fact that this is really made to be effortless. And I think, you're talking about tracking velocity and benchmarking what other players in the same market as you are kind of doing. I think that's super key. And this particular slide here, there's something just so human about leaving a review for another human being as opposed to a company. I feel like, and I don't have data on this, but I've heard that by making it about a person, you're a lot more likely to increase the likelihood or the chances that you're getting positive reviews.
Absolutely.
Something psychological about not wanting to bash another human being.
Absolutely. And you mentioned 2 words that are very key, Mark. One is human, and that's one of the big things that we've worked on to make this entire recipe very human. The second is, of course, simplicity, because people don't have time. And then the third is just being able to benchmark and make this completely automated, so you're not putting a whole lot of effort into sending these things out. Consistency is what pays off in a pretty big way.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned like 98% open rate via SMS. So like that's, I don't know, anyone listening here, look at email, and I'm not saying email's dead, but it's definitely not performing at 98% open rate. So that's pretty cool.
Email would give you about 13% open rate compared to SMS, and we don't consider email as dead either. We actually have both SMS and email with support. So if a customer wants to use email, they certainly can. Some customers still respond by email instead of SMS, whatever they prefer. Mm-hmm. And of course, protecting the consumer at the end of the day, and by making sure that you comply to all the laws and making sure that if they want to opt out of something, that they always can. Those are also very key. The technology has to protect the end consumer, the end customer, and only then our customers will be successful.
Right.
This is a case study that I want to share. It's a one of my favorites, although we have hundreds of these. But this is a customer in Florida that started off with about 16 reviews about 2.5 years ago. They're about to cross 5,000 reviews on Google. And I've interviewed the owner multiple times and asked, what is it that created these results? And number one was integration and automation, of course, with their CRM. We're integrated in PulseM. We love integrations, and we've integrated with just about every platform you can think of. They put the right systems and processes in place by using PulseM to its maximum, put rewards for technicians for delivering excellent service that they can monitor. And then you cannot reward your end customers for writing reviews, because that's against the Google policies and other policies. But you can certainly reward your technicians to deliver excellent service and ask for a review, and then respond to every Google review. That was the recipe that was shared, but it's a remarkable growth that they've seen in terms of velocity of reviews, and their company has proportionally grown month after month in terms of revenue. This is another case study in Kansas City where this company, Anthony Plumbing, and we do this benchmarking within our platform. So with the automation, you also get this benchmarking compared to your competition in terms of how your company is doing versus your competition. This company joined us with about 500 reviews and are currently at 5,600 reviews. They overtook just about every company in Kansas City. And what they've focused on, once again, is outstanding service, which almost every service company, works on a daily basis. That's your recipe. If you're a service company, you're going to be working on these things anyways. But the platform sort of helps you deliver that promise, so that you could grow your review velocity, you can benchmark yourself against the competition, and you can get ahead. And of course, over a period of time, what happens is that other competitors also take notice of what you're doing, and they also get into that race. But there are certainly some customers who do it better than others. Timing matters, and this is why automation is important. Even if you don't have automation with your CRM, always send out this communication at the right time. Do not send this out a day later, 2 days later, or 5 days later. You're going to be like 5x less likely to get a review or any kind of appreciation for that communication. Communication and engagement has to be real time and has to be when it is beneficial for your end clients. And it's a very important point that is missed by a lot of companies. They feel they understand reviews, they understand all this communication helps their company, but they don't have the recipe or the tools to do it right. Mm-hmm. Once again, thinking from the end customer's perspective of when are you communicating is much more important than when you think you have to actually make that communication happen. So I just wanted to kind of make that point real quick.
That's interesting. They, 5 times less likely to get that positive review. It's very much like that in the lead gen world. Leads are coming in. If you're not responding immediately, your likelihood of closing a deal drops like 21x or something along those lines. And reviews, I'm sure a lot of people are leaving review generation. They are leveraging automation, but potentially doing it maybe a day or sometime within the week through stages set in the CRM. So the idea of doing it, before you leave the house or once you're in the vehicle, leaving or whatnot. I mean, this is huge.
Absolutely. And this is why automation is going to help. And automation helps within any kind of a CRM you're using. But if you're not using a CRM, um, at least we give you all of the tools necessary to do this as close to the service as possible. And you could still do it even without the automation, but you cannot deliver the service today and then expect to send some communication about it 2 days later and then expect results and be able to compete with the people who are actually fully automated.
And just quickly, Pawan, in terms of integrations, because we're talking about CRMs here, you do integrate with many of the commonly used CRMs in our space, right?
Absolutely. So I'll name a few, although there are the list is very, very long, but the largest ones, I'll go ahead and mention them real quick. We integrate with Service Titan. We have the deepest integration with Service Titan. We integrate with Successware, Field Edge, ESC. Lately, we have integrated with House Call Pro, Service Fusion, Fieldworks, MobiLogic, just all kinds of CRMs are integrated. And if we find an opportunity to integrate with others, we jump on them.
Nice.
So there's, if your CRM is not integrated, just come by and talk to us and we'll help you out. The next point that I want to make is that it's not just about the bios and the review requests. So at the end of the day, I really strongly feel that it's about a customer journey. And if you want those customers to be into your community, then you've got to make it really, really easy for those customers to communicate with you. Whether they are originating that message from a website and saying, I'm looking for service, and then that message comes into a two-way messaging platform that I'm showing to you on the slide, and your staff can respond, or you could respond from your mobile phone or from the platform. But that type of a communication is very important because texting is asynchronous. It's not like a phone call. A person who texts you and you don't respond for 10 minutes, that lead is gone. They have probably texted to three other companies, since they texted you. So the key is for you to be able to respond immediately. And then not all conversations are started by customers. You should be able to start a conversation about any topic, anytime from the platform. You should be able to send a message to 100 customers at the same time if there is a maintenance call that you want to make, or any reason why you need to communicate. Basically, we have a platform, an add-on that allows you to map out what I call a customer journey. And this is a journey that starts off with a lead, ends up being a customer, and then you want to do certain things, even after you service them, even after you get Google reviews. And so I'm showing you a value of a customer journey here by just giving you an example on the left-hand side. You don't have to actually have exactly this journey. But imagine that the job confirmation is done right away, so there you don't avoid any missed calls, and your appointment is confirmed. You send that message, then you send them a reminder 24 hours in advance. Then you send out the bio that I showed you with how prepared you are with the COVID-19 situation. Then you get a 5-star review. I mean, it doesn't have to be Google review. It could be Facebook review. It could be any other review, but just a review request right in time. And then perhaps you can ask for referrals in the future. Perhaps you can continue that relationship. And this is how this is where the industry is moving towards. And what we're trying to do is to automate these customer journeys for our clients, so we can continue to sort of create that trust, deliver convenience. And, at the end of the day, it's all about servicing your clients and delivering more and more value to your end clients. And so this is where the market is going. And hopefully what I've done is, Mark, in these few slides, I've given you a perspective. I'll wrap up by saying just a few things to remember. Keep things really simple. Whichever platform you go with, if you're making it complex, you're not gonna be able to satisfy your clients, because clients these days don't have time. Keeping things really simple and using automation to your advantage. And then not all platforms are created equal. I will just highly suggest that a lot of companies out there, they understand the value of reviews, but they also think of this as just sending a link to somebody. There are hundreds and hundreds of nuances involved in making a platform like this successful. And so we actually at PulseM monitor down to the microseconds or milliseconds in terms of customer responses, and read a lot of data behind the scenes to actually make sure that our customers are getting value from this platform. So there's a lot more involved in this, and hopefully what I've done today is to give you a quick perspective. Of course, you can reach out to sales@pulsem.me if you have more questions about the platform.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Pawan, that this will have sparked some interest, and I know some people watching might be leaving reviews to chance. And I know it's above everyone's list because everybody wants more referral business, the best kind of business, and this goes a long way in helping you do that. Pawan, we're doing something a little bit different today. We've invited one of your clients to get their perspective on your platform, your software, and how it's impacted their business. And I believe Josh is logged in here.
Yes. So I'd like to just take a couple of minutes to talk about Josh and give him a chance to introduce himself with his own sort of bio. But Josh has been a long-term client of PulseM, and reason why I invited Josh is that I've seen his company grow. And one of the things that I find Josh doing really, really well is that he has the pulse of his customers. He also does an extremely good job in understanding not just the value of reviews, but also what to do about those reviews and how to use that data properly in his company. And so with that, I'd like to actually ask Josh to introduce himself a bit, and then we could do a little Q&A because I believe that Josh is one of the pros in the reviews business, not just the services business.
Hey, Josh.
Hi. How you
Good
doing,
stuff.
Mark?
Good. I'm doing great. Thank you. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff.
Pleasure.
So we'll pass it over to you and let you kind of introduce yourself. And
Yeah, I'm Josh Campbell. I own Rescue Air. We're in Dallas, not too far from Pawan's home office, and we've been on PulseM for 5 years now. I mean, we've been, I don't know, pretty early on. I know we've probably grown. I would say when we signed up with PulseM, we were probably doing 3 million. This year, we're pacing for somewhere around 12. So in that period of time, PulseM's been fantastic for us. I mean, it's you kind of mentioned like why we joined PulseM. It's interesting. I think one of the fundamental attributes of Rescue Air is that we eat, sleep, and breathe in our reputation. And then when we heard about PulseM, I had to check the product out. We were using another software. We weren't having great success with that software, and we switched to PulseM and saw a huge spike. And it really helps us get our message out there, and it's really so much of what we're about. So
interesting. I like that. You talk about reputation, and reputation. It takes forever to build, and not too long to kind of destroy.
That's right.
Right. And so you mentioned PulseM. You guys implemented the software, and it sounds like you're able to see an impact pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was neat about it is it started. All right, so we've always given 5-star service, right? That's something I believe in. The kind of how you do anything, how you do everything, and
right.
Do what you say. I have it on the wall right here in front of me. It's like do what you say you're going to do.
Right.
And, I think that's something that's been missing in our industry for a long time, and I think the idea that these review sites came along really helped us rebuild our industry. But I don't think any of us were all that good at navigating those waters outside of a good handshake and say, hey, please share your experience if you would online, and that never led to anything. It didn't give an easy route for someone to do it, or the marriage of businesses like mine with a business like PulseM, it really helps deliver those results.
Mm-hmm. And was there sort of a kind of a light bulb moment or something that prompted you initially, challenges you were faced with that, made you realize, okay, we need a different solution here. We're not hitting the mark. Like, what was it that made you make that move?
Man, I think one of the biggest things that got me early on, I remember when it kind of originally, I don't want to say use the word, it screens customers from leaving their bad review. It doesn't do a customer any good to leave a 1-star review any more than it does us to get one.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is that the customer gets good service and that we gave good service. So when somebody doesn't have a great experience, you immediately get that pulse check back. And I mean, it comes to me on text. I mean, trust me, in my business, it is enormous, and somebody better get on it, so fast. So it gives us a chance to reach out to these people and see what went wrong before they go, share a rotten experience that we could have just easily made right. Maybe it was something simple, or an opportunity to grow that we can fix our business, fix their experience, and that experience wouldn't then be relevant for the rest of the world to even look at. So I really like that ability in the early stages, the ability to head off what could be a bad review before it becomes one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess much like the name, Pawan Pulse, you get a pulse, you got a good pulse on the business, which is cool. What about Josh, like implementation, time before you could see results, and then how that correlates to kind of revenue? Because that's 3 to 12 million in a relatively short time frame. That's some pretty good growth. How do you attribute that to reviews? Like what?
So I remember there was a direct correlation, and we measured it for like our first 4 years that we were looking at previous customers. Was a really neat thing we did. So I have a huge belief system in previous customers. If somebody leaves you a 5-star review, they use you again, right? It's something. It's not about getting new customers as much for me as it is about retaining the old ones. When somebody writes those words and they put them out there for the world to see, they own it. Those are their words on the internet, and they're way more likely to do business with you again. Plus, the revenue that you get from a previous customer is higher because they know you, they like you, they trust you. And if they left you a 5-star review, it's just such a higher revenue from a customer. And now, when you look at a previous customer, it's so much cheaper to go to them again than it is to acquire a new one. We're paying, I don't know, people out here paying anywhere from $50 to $250 to get a new lead. And keeping an old customer makes so much more sense because a previous customer spends more money with you. So that's something. So we saw a direct correlation in our growth and in our profits. So when there was 1 year that we had 78% of our revenue when we grew from 3 million to 4.5 million that year in particular. And if you fast forward a couple of years, it went from that number dropped 1 year to 72%. And our net profit dropped that same 6%. You go to the next year, we dropped another 6% and profits dropped to 6%. Just awful interesting that those two things aligned with each other, that previous customers and referrals were so directly related to profits.
Wow.
So I think one of the biggest things about PulseM is the fact that somebody leaves that 5-star review and you've really solidified that previous customer. At least one more way that you're solidifying it.
Yeah, from a marketing perspective, you're kind of closing that life cycle marketing loop, like you're saying, Josh. To acquire the customer is a lot of work, a lot of effort, potentially very expensive. Now, stretching the lifetime value of a customer allows you on the front end to maybe afford to invest a bit more to get the right customer.
You reduce that acquisition cost by keeping somebody you already bought, and then they spend more money with you because they know you, like you, trusted. You already planted some seeds.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So 5 years on the platform, you're probably an early adopter. You've likely seen some growth over the years. What's the experience like working with the team? And Pawan, block your ears, and so you can throw some dirt here, Josh, if you want to.
Yeah, no, I listen. I would say that everything was gumdrops and lollipops, but every time we've had a problem, I find out that it's something that we're doing that's dumb, and it's kind of annoying. It's like you see that 1-star review. and you immediately think that the customer's bananas. Oh my God, another 1-star
Right.
Yelper. And then when you
Yeah.
talk to them, you realize that there's something valid in there 90% of the time. Something you can learn. It's the same thing when we've had our rocky spots with PulseM. It's because we weren't doing something right, and we probably just didn't ask for help, and then we just got frustrated because we didn't click the right switch or reach out to PulseM and get the solution that was right in front of us. So I'd love to tell you that I have any problems with PulseM. It's usually it's us making mistakes.
Well, good stuff. Josh, I want to thank you for taking the time to come and share your thoughts here with us. Congratulations on your success. Any last words or thoughts that you'd leave with somebody who's kind of on the fence about technology and sometimes the costs associated with it, or maybe not too sure of the impact it can potentially have on the business? What would you share with someone?
I would say if you're a business in the trades, we are, anything from service technician to the service industry. It's in the title. We've got to be given 5-star service. If you haven't bought into that belief system yet, buy into it and don't just say, okay, we're going to change. You've got to eat, sleep, and breathe it. I was telling Pawan, I just spoke with him this morning. It was odd because last night I had a Yelp customer who left us a 2-star review, and it was the minus 1-star review when you read it. I mean, it was bad. And said something about our service technician coming off like a used car salesman. I mean, the thing was atrocious. I would not have called that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the last week and a half, I have been texting and calling this customer nonstop. She finally called me back last night at 7 p.m. and I had a 30-minute conversation. I was like, I'm so excited. I was like, Aubrey, I've been waiting for your call. I talked to her for 30 minutes. In her review, she actually used the words, and beware. I've heard that these guys have the owner call people to try to get negative reviews taken down. I mean, so I was already like, this one's not coming down. Right? It was a bad review. After our conversation, and she really enlightened me to a lot of things we could have gotten right. And it wasn't 2 minutes after I hung up the phone with her, she switched her review to a 5-star review. The same person who said that. It was like, I was like, either I'm a really good salesman, but what it really comes down to is people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
And don't give up on it. Like, if you're going to say I'm going to be a 5-star company, if you've got a 1-star review, I don't care if it's 6 months old, keep calling that customer. Make it right, fix it. Hunt them down. We have amazing success on Yelp, and I don't hear that from anyone. You can do it.
Yeah.
It's just what's your determination and how much you believe in really becoming a 5-star company. And if you can embrace that mentality, pair up with Pawan and PulseM and grow.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome feedback, Josh. And what you just shared there, that story, you being invested in your business enough to basically chase somebody for a week to make it right. I've got Mike Holmes in my mind, do it, make it right kind of thing. That's amazing because, like you said, you turn a negative experience into a good one, in that you took something out of it, you learned, and now you can say, okay, what could we have done better next time? So that's incredible.
Here's something interesting. That customer spent no money with us, left us a 2-star review that was really much worse. And now one of our sales managers going out to her house, she loved him. She wants to, she's going to give him a chance to earn. So now we went from a 2-star review and no revenue to that's already a 5-star review. And I'm almost certain she's going to do business with us, purchasing a new system. So just stay after it.
Yeah, it's good. And so you're kind of leveraging technology. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about how, they were looking at competitors in their market, and how there's one competitor who's employing some shady business practices, and they're getting tons of reviews, but that's to offset the volume of negative reviews that they're getting. And so my point of view, my philosophy on there was, that guy is constantly playing defense. Whereas if you focus on integrity, do what you say you're going to do, you can play offense. And we're not going to get into the whole football stuff here. The best offense is defense, but in this case for reviews, you don't want to be playing. You want to be playing offense, but to have the software help you out there.
The bury the negative reviews mentality, that is so backwards.
Yeah.
Don't try to bury negative reviews. Get people to share their great experiences, but hear the bad experiences and then act on them. That's it. And then take all the tricks they give you. Like, man, there's a million tricks that you don't know. Everything from the way you answer the phone, mentioning that you're 5 stars, and If we're not delivering on that promise, stop us. Your tech should say that at the front door. You should ask if we delivered on our promise to be 5 stars at the end of the call, and then ask somebody to share their experience and walk them through it. I mean, you got to plant those seeds the whole way along the ride for it to come to fruition.
Couldn't agree more. Well, guys, I want to thank you both for your time. Pawan, appreciate you walking us through PulseM. Josh, for your thoughts and input. And again, congrats on your success. Pawan, if somebody wants to get in touch with someone from PulseM, obviously you can go direct to the website. Is there a link we should put up here somewhere?
Yeah, we should put in a link for the website, which is www.pulsem.me, Mary Edwards. And there is an email, sales@pulsem.me. If you can put both of those call to action, that would be great.
Fantastic. So urge you guys check that out. Awesome software. We've got customers using it. I really love it. Thanks again, guys, for being here, and best of luck to everyone. Cheers.
Thank you. Stay safe. Bye.